Welcome back to the Tribecast. Obviously, I'm here with Jake again this week because he's been away for a week, chilling in the Isles of Scotland. And back, and he is present inside of the building. Hi, Jake.
I'm back, baby. I'm back, bitches. Scottish air's done my beard good.
Huh?
So that Scottish air's done my beard nice and ginger now. The changed man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was one thing I picked up on actually in your photos. Yeah, I was literally like, Jake's got a beard on, bro. He's fully embracing the Scottish Highlands.
Just waiting for the voice to catch up. Just waiting for puberty to actually start.
You're all right. You're all right. Okay, cool. Let me just send out a message to the group saying that we are live. Monday morning, Monday Motivation Podcast is live. Dude, I swear my fingers are getting chubbier because I always mistype now. I'm sorry if any of you guys are any of my clients and you get like video reviews where you can see my screen and I fucking consistently put in people's like calories on their Google Sheets and I always mistype. I think I put like 9,000 calories in for someone once. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Copy paste. We're good to go. Good to go. All right, cool. Right, okay, cool. Let's get stuck in. So, right then, Monday morning podcast then. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump straight in, I think. Yeah. Obviously, bank holiday weekend. So that means that obviously there are a lot of people that are having lines this morning and chilling out, which they should be. You know, like we're meant to be resting on the days we have off. But also at the same time, it doesn't mean that we can slack with our goals. Yeah, it's something that you guys need to remember that even if you are getting up and even if you are getting up a little bit later, still meal prep, still get to the gym, still hit all your targets, because as soon as you get that done, the more you can just then enjoy your day. So yeah, let's keep things moving, guys. And Jake, got any immediate motivational quotes for people?
Immediate motivational quotes. No, not that come to mind. Let me think.
Are you Googling it?
No, I'm thinking. I'm going into my man cave. You can't put me on the spot that early. I think I'll always go back to the one that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago in the podcast where it was like, it was something along the lines of like sort of like train like you've never won, but then like compete like you've never lost, sort of thing. Just having that like mentality that like I guess it's kind of.
Would you like maybe one more coffee?
Yeah, I'd like a coffee actually.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Going blank. It's just having that mindset really that like failure isn't kind of an option. If that makes sense. That like, because I feel like, and we have it a lot, right? When people approach like a 1, for example, in their lifts, like a deadlift or a squat, I think like 9 times out of 10, the reason why they fail the lift is because they have that in their mind telling that they cannot do it. And I think if you can get past the thought of like failing being an option, then like you are literally unstoppable. And I think a Monday bank holiday is quite, an extreme case of using that quote, but it's kind of the same thing that like, yeah, okay, cool, it's a bank holiday. But like literally had a lady in this morning, Sarah, come in, and she was like, I'm so glad I did not hit snooze on my alarm today. Otherwise I would have just had like a really lazy day. And it's the last thing you want to do, especially on like a transformation, is set yourself back by just being that little bit lazy and letting the old habits come back in. So if you can see failure as like not being an option, then you are literally destined for a solid transformation and just like a solid gym session as well, because you've already got past that first barrier. Even little stuff like you mentioned with like meal prep, like you've already got through the barrier of like having to do it throughout the day. It's it's all done, it's there, and it's like cool, it's another box to tick. So try not to see failure as an option.
Yeah, man, definitely. And I think, guys, for you lot today, it's important to just remember to just get on with it. And it's one of those where if you are up in the morning, you can have a lazy day. Absolutely, have a lazy day. Like it's what these bank holidays are for. Spend it with your family, but it doesn't mean that you can't spend just 45 minutes to an hour of just getting your workout in. Because I guarantee you, for a lot of people that I train and work with, if Monday's off, it's almost offsetting the whole week. So you want to, even though you've got the day off, still push to hit your targets because then Tuesday rolls around and everything's so much easier. So rather than thinking for the day ahead, think 2 days ahead, 3 days ahead, 4 days ahead. Because tomorrow when you wake up, you want to be like, wow, cool, I'm on day two and it's Tuesday and I had a really nice day yesterday and I didn't let my life impact my goals moving forward. So just get up, even if that is at like 8, 9 a.m., whatever. Just get that food in the oven, get cooking, get meal prepping, get all of that sorted. And if you have the flexibility, if you are having a truly lazy day where you are at home, just meal prep on the go. Like if you want to just go to the kitchen continuously and you're like, oh, well, time for meal two, and you want to cook meal two up fresh, and cook meal two up fresh, and have absolutely no issues with sitting down watching a film midday. Yeah, you don't have to always be. And this is the thing, like if you want to have a lazy day, there's nothing wrong with like sitting down, watching a film, and doing absolutely fuck all with your day off. As long as you just spend the 45 minutes to an hour going to the gym, hit a little bit of cardio if you've got your cardio goals to hit as well, get all the meals in, do whatever the fuck you want to for the rest of the day. And that is a okay. You're still going to progress massively. In fact, because you're resting and you're not working and stress is a lot lower, you're probably going to make more progress on your day off in a perfect environment. I'm sure Jake would vouch for this. Um, I would literally have no one working and just training all the time. I would have them like wake up, train, meal prep, and then go back to sleep and then wake up for each of their meals. That's perfect, right? If that was a perfect environment, that is not a reality for anybody. But I think everybody has this thing of like, it's this level of momentum where it's like, well, now I've trained, now I've done this, now I've got to get out, now I've got to go do my steps. I'll do a little bit more training today. I'll do a little bit more of this. Oh, I'll get out in the garden. And what you're doing is you're frying your energy for the rest of the week. So by the time you get to Wednesday, you're absolutely teetotal. You can't even think about training because you're exhausted. So use today to rest. Just hit what you need to do and then just chill for the rest of the day. If you want to go out a bath, if you want to take a day out, absolutely. Just don't do anything above and beyond and just make sure you hit your bare minimum. That is the thing. So that brings me on to the main topic for this week. So what I would like to do is talk about one thing that is holding people back at the moment. And what I wanted to talk to you, Jake, about is what would you find with your clients that is like the one thing that is consistently said in check-ins that people struggle with the most. And don't elaborate on it yet. Just say like maybe give us three and we'll choose a top three. I'll give you three and then you give me three. You start with your three.
Or two. Um, doing measurements correctly, knowing how to use a tape measure. Joking.
Well, we can't motivate them with that, bro.
I think one of the things. So you say three things, right?
Or two.
Okay, I'll do two. I'll be safe. Coping mechanisms, I think, is one thing. So how people deal with stress, even sleep, like how you can tactically have better sleep. Another thing as well is maybe just like a bit more push in the gym. But I feel like having a better understanding as to what they are capable of, and they may feel like they're pushing hard, but are they actually pushing hard? I think those are my two, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, they're good. They're good. I vouch for the stress thing. I also would mention momentum is my second one because I feel like when people come off, they really come off, and it's almost like one-off meal means that every other meal has to be bad, right? It's like actually in the grand scheme of things, yes, okay, cool. If we could be perfectly linear 100%, but no one's perfectly linear, right? And this is kind of like I really want to touch on number one, the stress, because you mentioned that. I completely vouch for that. 100%. Stress is one of the biggest things that people need to learn to deal with because stress drives hunger, doesn't it? Yeah. When people like want the worst thing about our world currently at the minute is because we we have normalized so many foods that give people an immediate endorphin hit, which is like your chocolate, your sweets, like that has been literally manufactured to give you a feel good feeling, which is not good for your insulin levels, not good for your blood sugar levels, not good for diabetes, all these other things, right? So when stress is high, your immediate thing is like, I just want to feel good because stress is high. I feel like shit. So I want to have something real quick to make me feel good. Um, Greg, on the momentum side of things, momentum is one as well. And again, going back to what I was saying there was, well, they kind of link together, right? With stress being high, people then will go switch to food, fast, easy options for food to make them feel good. That brings them off of their momentum, and then they crash for 3 days. And I think that's something that we should really touch on. And for me, a huge something that I feel massively passionate about is understanding that, okay, right, the majority of people that make insane transformations, I mean, even you can vouch for this, I can vouch for this. In my preps, I'm not 100% all the time. I'm like 95 to 97% pretty much over the course of like 16 weeks, right? There are moments where I have a hiccup, where I have had an additional bowl of oats and gone, fuck, I've had another bowl of oats. Because again, last prep was my worst because stress was so high. So I like there was one time where I had an additional bowl of oats with like some chocolate on top and whatever, and I was like, I'll just give myself a refeed. And I sat there and I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And immediately I was like, right, I just have to crack on with my diet like normal. So I'm not going to skip meals. I'm just going to get all the other meals in, and I'm going to crack on. I'm just going to relay that over to my coach and just crack on tomorrow like a brand new day. It's fine. Just means we've got to work that little bit harder, right? And for a lot of people, I think they see having stress being high, having that moment where they have a little lapse of judgment as just coming off completely. And it's not the case. Like one meal, I still won a show. Yeah, like I was still absolutely peeled by the time I got to the stage, even if I had a hiccup. But ultimately, it's how you approach it. It's just like, right, okay, you've had a hiccup, don't worry about it, move on, continue moving forwards. And again, for me, I was like, well, what drove me to that? I'm going to address it. And what I found really helped me with my stress was going for 5-10 minute walks. And when I felt hungry and I was like, hmm, I have only eaten 45 minutes ago. I should not be hungry. I'm not starving. I'm not in a third world country. I have access to food and I'm not on like peasantry calories. Why am I actually feeling hungry? So I go out for a 5-10 minute walk, and what I do is I get my notes up and I write 3 things that were bothering me in that moment. And I literally on that walk, number one, it might be, you know, work is stressful because accounts feel unmanaged. So it might be like I'm not in control of my finances. My accountants are. So I just literally need to be like, I'm just going to drop them an email, yeah, and ask them where we are financially and what's going on, right? Number two, it might have been like, again, not going to feel ready for my show. Maybe I'm stressing about it. Maybe I just don't feel good in my body. And then I'll give a little resolution underneath, which was just message my coach and ask him where we're at. And number three was something like, me and Maddie aren't spending a lot of time together. Just want to make sure that our relationship is good. So I'll be like, just have a chat, sit down with Maddie for 5 or 10 minutes and see whether she's okay. And then as soon as I'd actioned all of those things, in that 5-10 minute walk, I managed to diagnose all of that. In that 5 to 10 minute walk, when I got back and I actioned those, everything was fine. Hunger completely left. Yeah, like there was no hunger there. But it's because stress was so high, it was driving my hunger. And they're very closely linked together. So understanding that stress can be resolved and that will help with hunger and that will help you not come off your plan. But even if you do, don't worry about it. Figure out why it happened and then continue moving on and try and do your best to not let that same situation happen a second time.
I think 9 times out of 10 it is just simply the case of writing down a list, and also like time management as well also comes to play. And I feel like a lot of people get stressed because they feel like, oh, they haven't got enough time to do stuff. I feel like a simple solution is just write out what you're doing during your day. And like you said there with stress in terms of like what might be going wrong in terms of like life, whether it's financially, work, career, social life, etc. Just write everything that's going on in your life, and then you can literally think there because it's in front of you, like, oh, how can we approach this and make this easier? and then like, you know, spend a little time in this area and just sort of like remove some of the stress. And then over time it just gets, you know, a lot easier, and then you'll suddenly look at that bit of paper and be like, oh, I was actually worrying about something that is an easy fix, and, you know, 5 minutes of my time spent towards that area and it will be sorted, it'll be fine. Not just this like quick fix which has, you know, as a result has like a long-term negative, because then it becomes like a what's the word, like a go-to. Like when someone has a fag, for example, like 9 times out of 10 it's just a habit of having a fag. It's not actually like the sweet they inhale. It's just because that's an easy thing to do if they're stressed. And like, you know, I used to work in kitchens all the time, and like the amount of times that, you know, chefs would go outside and be like, oh, I'm stressed, so let's have a cigarette, which is actually going to increase your blood pressure and your heart rate, and actually not relax you at all, do the complete opposite. So just because it's a quick go-to solution, it's not just like, right, what are we feeling about? How can we actually approach this in a positive way? Unfortunately, with a more positive outcome, it just takes a little bit more hard work, which is where I think people sometimes maybe go wrong, because they see it as like effort, and it's like, yeah, but the effort you put towards that, the less energy you have to put towards that in the future, which means you have more energy for the more positive things that you're passionate about in your life, you know, and you're not spending that time sort of fixing a negative which has, you know, been fixed. So just like the simple case of writing out issues and seeing how you can get around them.
Yeah, I don't think it's that people don't want to put the effort in. You know, I think people do want to put the effort in. They're just confused as to whether or not that effort would pay off. I think it's this confusion of like, if I was to put effort into this, am I just going to feel the exact same way? But now I've made myself tired because I've dedicated all this effort and time into something that hasn't worked. When in reality, actually spending that 5 to 10 minutes on a problem and solving it is so good for your mental well-being. And I cannot tell you the amount of times where I've like been in a dieting phase, and just getting started on something that I've been avoiding with work has allowed me to be very consistent with my diet, just because I've got a win somewhere else and I've done something else that was hard. And now because I've done that and completed it, I've now been like, well, because I've done this and I've started that momentum off, going back to momentum of getting these sort of small wins throughout my day. If I hit all my meals, that's even more wins. If I make sure I get my training session in and I try and progress there, that's another win. Then by the end of the day, you've got wins across the board. And I think your daily wins start from things potentially not even being in the gym. You know, if you set your alarm, a really easy daily win that you can do is set your alarm 15 minutes earlier and just get up for it. And like at the moment, because of the way that my schedule is, I get up at like 4 in the morning. And some days I'll go to bed late because I have to literally do work in here. But I still make sure I'm up at 4 in the morning, because I'm there like, no, I've told myself I'm going to be up at 4 in the morning. And sure, I have to be a bit sleep deprived, but my focus then on the following day is I need to be in bed by 9:30. Like I have to be in bed by 9:30 because I need adequate sleep. And I can't let that one lapse, because that was an L for the previous day, so I need to make that a W. But I've still started my day with a W, because even though I'm tired, I'm still up. I'm still cracking on, you know? So I think if you can set yourself like daily wins, a really good way, and someone used to do this, he used to come to this gym who made an insane transformation, is literally write down your wins for the day, no matter how small they are. And I remember this person was like, I mean, she liked the idea of like mental challenges. So she would just have like, I think she just wanted to have a cold shower, because, you know, it's hard to have a cold shower in the morning. It's just hard, isn't it? It's a bit like ice baths. Ice baths are hard. So she was like, I actually switched the shower to cold for 10 seconds at the end of my shower. That was instantaneously a win for her. So she was like, well, I've done this hard thing. Now I'm going to go and meal prep, because that's hard to do. Not many people want to do that, but I'm going to do it now. And because she just made these daily wins out of things that she found that were hard for her, and it was so like non-gym related, everything gym related was quite easy. Do you know what I mean? Like these things like meal prepping in a comfortable kitchen, meal prepping in a comfortable house with heating, and going to the gym in an environment where it's very easy to be able to lift weights. Those things aren't the hard things. The hard things is her getting up and having a cold shower, her getting up a little bit earlier, her going to work and smashing all of her targets, making sure she gets a sales target for the end of the month, all this sort of stuff. And the gym just sort of happened around that, in and around that. So I think if you guys are struggling with the momentum, write some little wins, stuff that you find is hard, and start just ticking them off on a daily basis, because that'll net you some very like positive results with a physique outcome, with a strength outcome, with a fitness outcome, whatever it may be.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. One thing I am struggling with at the moment is an insane amount of lag. I don't know if you've noticed that, Les. Hold on, let me.
Whoa.
Hold on, let me leave it on there. Let me do it on my phone. My computer's going to die.
That's that is straight gone for the day, guys. You're still sat here, so I'll take over for the time being. But yeah, so I think for you guys with consistency, especially on a bank holiday, just get in, hit your targets anyway, because you're setting yourself up with momentum for the week, and that's so important. And you know, it's the same with anything really. Yeah, you've got to get started, and sometimes that start is something very minor, but something you've been putting off for a while. And if you can just get that minor thing done, that leads to then dealing with the slightly harder thing, and then dealing with the slightly harder thing, and so on and so forth. And then the gym just becomes an easy byproduct off the back of that, or as an easy outcome. So, so yeah, definitely that is one. And with stress, guys, stress is so important to manage. I cannot tell you how many times I've done a check-in with a client and they've been nailing their diet and nailing their training, but they're 2 pounds up in a weight loss journey because stress has been so high, and getting that across to them and saying, look, this stress that you're experiencing right now is affecting your body. It's not like, and this is the crazy thing about my industry and what I do and what we do, is that you can literally see how stress affects people in a negative way, because there's loads more water retention, loads more inflammation. And then what happens as a byproduct of that is hey bro. As a byproduct of that, it's this inflammation markers going up, and when water retention is present, that normally means blood pressure is high. And if blood pressure is high, that means that your risk of having long-term things like heart attacks and stuff is up. And for me, with my clients, I'm like, anytime blood pressure is high, we need to fucking action that straight away. There's no reason for that to be high. It needs to come down, because we need that blood pressure to be in range. Okay. And from a long-term health perspective as well, like, you know, the only time blood pressure should be high is when you're going for like a 1 rep max for a short, tiny period of like maybe, let's say, like 5 to 10 minutes when you're doing your 1 rep maxes. But it shouldn't be throughout the week, not for a long period of time, because that will stress your heart out. And nothing is worth stressing yourself out enough to limit your lifespan, period. Yeah, it's not worth it. So stress management, definitely, guys, if you are dealing with stress and there's no resolution, you've tried everything. Therapy, yeah, I know guys do everything but go talk about their problems. And ladies, you're much better at it than we are as guys. But definitely therapy, if you are avoiding it, it's great. Speaking with your partner, yeah, if you have a partner at home, spending that time. It's not a weak thing to talk about. Me and Maddie do it all the time, yeah, where I'm like, look, listen, like Mads, I just need like a 5 or 10 minute chat because I'm worrying about this thing. And then we'll go sit at the table, we'll talk about it. And normally I'll end up with like us figuring out a resolution to the problem. And it could be something really, really small, or what she would perceive as really small. But for me, it's a big deal. It's stressing me out. And the same vice versa. If Maddie's having a bad day with her appearance, right, there'll be a case of, let's sit down, let's talk about it. Let's actually be very much present in the moment and figure out what the fuck is actually happening, because you're a very beautiful girl and you're not taking all of these positives into account. You're focusing on the negatives, right? And by the time that conversation is finished, it's great. So just address it head on with your partner. It's always good. And also just, you know, the gym is so good for stress relief as well. Yeah. If you need to spend 5 or 10 minutes on the punching bag at the end of your session, by all means, we all have managers that fucking absolutely, we want a floor. I've been there before, and I'm sure Jake feels that way about me sometimes. So the slow nod. But it's always good to just let that stress out. Yeah. Jake, anything you want to add to that?
Punching bags are an elite piece of equipment. Print out someone's face and put it on there. Sorted. But yeah, definitely. I think you said about like the negatives and forgetting all the positives. I think at the end of the day, like, humans are their own worst enemy. they'll always look at the downfalls and not necessarily the positives. Like you said there is nothing in life that is worth stressing about that, in order to take years off your life. Like, it's literally not worth it, because 9 times out of 10 there is an easy solution. You just haven't found it yet. And it's just a case of just trial and error, like finding it. If something doesn't work, then you just try it a different way and go again, and then you'll find a way that does work. And also, like, there are so many positives, even just to you being alive, than there are any negatives going on in your life. So it's really not worth the stress. Think about it, as easy as that is, said than done. There really isn't.
Sometimes it's actually not that. It's not that deep as well. Like, for a lot of people, when we say it's easier said than done, I completely agree. Like, if you're a parent, you've got kids, and your stress is related around the kids, there's nothing you can do, right? You could be the best parent you could possibly be. Your kids are living their lives, and they're going to be stressed out about things that you can impact by giving them the right advice, but ultimately they're going to be left on their own devices at school. So you will always be a little bit stressed about them. That's fine. But when it's something that's directly your decision, something like the biggest one is work. For a lot of people in here that I talk to, it's like, my work stresses me out. It's like, okay, cool. What about your work stresses you out? Because if you're stressed out to the nth degree, I think a little bit of stress, not enough to raise your blood pressure up, a little bit of stress at work is good because it causes you to be able to push on and do better. But when it becomes like so huge, it becomes a point of like, now it needs to be addressed, because you're probably not performing your best either, right? And as an employer, they want you to perform your best. They want you to be your best. And therefore, in order to be able to facilitate that, they have to make you feel inspired and comfortable in the workplace. Because if you go in there every day and you're dreading it, fuck that. Like, it's a terrible way to perform, because you're never going to want to be there, period. So I've the amount of times I've said to people, like, look, this thing, whether it's like, again, sales related. I had a lady who works for a Mercedes garage, right? And she was talking about like how she wanted to gain more sales. And I was like, oh, what's their Instagram like? Because Instagram's so good at publicly, especially with sales. If you've got a product, show the product. Yeah, like literally it needs to be that linear. People have a 2-second attention span. I'd imagine Mercedes would know that. Yeah, like they've got millions behind them, billions even. They probably know that. Went on their Instagram, dude, it is terrible. It is literally start off a video of a guy like this. My name's John, and I'm here to show you around the new Mercedes. Da, 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 da. And I was like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was bored 2 seconds in, and I would have flicked right off of that. What you need is a picture of the car, right? You need straight in at the car that you're trying to sell. If I was to buy a car, I want to see a picture from the front, a picture from the side, a picture from the back, a picture from the other side. I want to see what the interior is like. I want to see the stats about the car. Period. That's all I want to do. So I said to her, if you're lacking in sales, what you need to do is you need to go tell them that. And then if you need to start up your own Instagram account, and just take a photo of those cars that you could upload and just consistently post online, you are going to do nothing but benefit from that. And they will only benefit from that too, because you'll make more sales and you get more exposure, and there will always be people that want cars. And she was like, oh yeah, it's a really good idea. And it's like, these things are all that you could take action. You could solve those problems. You just have to know what that problem is. And then you have to be really like forward thinking in approaching that problem. So, when it comes to job related stuff, take control of your job. And ultimately, if you've tried all of that and it's not fucking working, you need to search for something else. Like, there is something else out there that will pay more, and that will give you much more job security, peace of mind, and more fulfillment, because that's probably not for you where you are right now. So stop forcing yourself into that environment. That doesn't mean you have to just quit tomorrow. That means start actively looking on LinkedIn, right? Start actually, messaging people, finding out about other job occupations and things like that. And again, even relationship issues is one in here as well. Relationship issues have 9 times out of 10, dude, it's a fucking conversation where two people just be honest with each other. The amount of times where people are like, oh, I don't feel supported by my partner. Have you actually told them that? Well, no, not directly. Okay, they have no idea then. So you need to literally sit them down and tell them that you don't feel supported. and explain how you feel and say, look, I'm not asking for an argument. I'm just relaying this information across to you. It'd be really nice to get some support. And then instantaneously it's fixed and everything's good again. Take control of it. Yeah. There are things in your life that you can control that you're putting down to having no control over, but you're not doing anything to action them. So action them. And it could be as simple as a conversation, a 5 or 10 minute conversation, bro. Yeah. So definitely get on that.
Yeah, I would 100% agree to that. The amount of times where I've had a situation that's been solved within 5 minutes because it's just two people having a chat and being like, oh, okay. And like understanding another perspective as well. It's like a huge thing, which I'm very guilty of. I don't know about you, but the amount of times where I'm like, oh, no, I'm certain about this. And then you hear someone else out and you're like, oh, actually, I was kind of in the wrong. And then, 5 minutes later, it's like, apologize, move on, and it's sorted. And like you said before, like some things are just not that fucking deep, like at all. Some things it's kind of like, I'm sure she won't mind me asking, but like, saying, but me and Shara have bickered in the past, and then we'll just laugh about it. 'Cause it's like, what the fuck are we on about? Like, what the fuck are we chatting about? So yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's not even that deep, and it's a solution that can be solved within minutes. Literally a couple words and sorted. So yeah.
Yeah, but even on the flip side, if you're deep in it, you're in your rights to deep it. So is she, but you might not even know. Yeah, like you might not even know that they're deep in it, and it could be something that's not that deep for you, but it is for them. But the only way you can talk about it, or the other way around, it could be very deep for you and not for them. They might not have a clue. Yeah, so you've got to tell them, and you got to literally, you can't expect people around you to know how you're feeling all the time because it's only you up here at the end of the day. Like, so you've got to relay how you feel. And if it's your partner, they should respect that, period. Like, if I was ever in an environment where Maddie kind of belittled how I felt, I would be annoyed, quite actively annoyed. So we have like a rule that like nothing is stupid in our relationship. Even if you feel like it is, I'm never going to sit in front of Maddie and be like, that's a ridiculous thing to think. It's like, okay, cool. I get why you think that, but this is actually the reality of the situation. This is the actual, like, this is how things have gone down. And this is how I viewed it. So does that help out? And then she'll be like, oh, actually, yeah, no, I didn't see it from that perspective. And I was just overthinking it. Or I was not thinking about it enough and it's my mistake. And it's actually like, shit, I really should have thought about my actions there. Like she'll openly, be honest with this. She went to go see Alex Warren, didn't she, with Lucy about 3 weeks ago. And I normally, me and Maddie sort of rip into each other as a bit of a joke. That's how we got together initially. We kind of flirted with each other that way. Bit of banter between the two. So I was ripping into her infatuation with Alex Warren. And she was like, actually, at the end of, I think it was like a Tuesday, she was like, no, actually, I do feel a bit shit about what you said today. And I was like, well, I'm actually really sorry. That is my fault, taking it too far. I didn't realize you felt that way. I'm going to pull back on that side of things. I only did it because I thought you'd find it funny as well. But if it's now not that, then there's no point, right? And she really appreciated that. So yeah, just communication, man. It's communication always. Yeah, communication. And going back to that momentum thing, if you can start your week with having a conversation with someone that's maybe bothering you quite a lot and going, look, hey man, like this is how I'm feeling at the moment. Any bit of help would be great. Easy. Then you've started your week by doing something incredibly hard, and then everything else is just going to flow off the back of it. And it's not even fucking gym related. Yeah, but the gym is easy after that. You're like, oh, I've done this positive thing. My life is pretty good outside of the gym. I'm going to go to the gym because that's going to make it even better. Done. Yeah.
Yeah, communication is key. That's why we sort of like value check-in time a lot, because it's like a perfect opportunity for people to be like, look, this is what's gone wrong. This is what I need help with. This is what's gone right. And then, like check-in time is huge for that. Because then you get a proper sense for how people are. Which is why like we will never slate people for just being like open and honest with their check-ins. Like if you've had a shit week, then just tell us, It's better to know than like not know and sort of like being sort of like the dark about it. It kind of like gets that's another thing as well, is having the ability to acknowledge when something's going wrong as well, and not always sort of like just be stuck on what you think, again, going back to like perspective side of things, like you're not the only perspective in the world. So, you know, which again, it's why we always value our check-ins, and like I always value people that are like brutally honest with me. They're like, look, this has been shit. So you can give them like a proper rundown as to how to go through the week with them, and just give them that little bit of like encouragement as well, which is great. So yeah, we'll always value doing that. Not only doing people's check-ins, but also doing my own. Like if I've had a shit week, then the fucking knows about it. So, you know, it's good. Just be open and honest. Communicate. Definitely key. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, so to round that section up, just be honest, be forward thinking, approach your week, attack the week. Don't let the week control you. You control it. Where you spend your time is where you spend your time, and you only get a limited amount of that in your life. So don't fucking waste it on things that don't make a difference. Yeah, don't like, the amount of people that get to their deathbed and they're like, I wish I'd done this, or I wish I'd done that, or they spent too much time on something or someone that just didn't benefit them in any kind of way. And they're like, oh God, that's taken away so much time. Like even, the gym for everybody is going to enhance your lifespan, right? It's also going to allow you to enjoy life more because ultimately you feel good in your body and you live in your body every single fucking hour of every single minute of every single second of every day. So like ultimately, no one's going to look back on their life being like, I wish I wasn't in great shape. They'll go like, that's cool. But they'll normally say, I wish I didn't spend so much time with this person, or I wish I didn't spend so much time worrying about this, or I wish I spent a little bit more time doing this. Like, do it. Like that doesn't, this is not me saying, oh, okay, in a year's time, you can set yourself up in another job. Like, it's like right now is the moment where you've got a fucking day off. It's your bank holiday. You can search for other jobs. You can decide to take that step and go, that one person in your friendship group that really fucking irritates you because he always picks on something that you're bothered about, message them, get it done. Equally, just start making active decisions to make your life and the people around you a bit better. And if that requires you having that hard conversation, a bit like Jake said with our check-ins, there's a little thing at the bottom of all the check-ins saying, is there anything better I can do for you and to enhance this coaching experience? And I have a few clients that are like businessy guys that obviously have to give negative feedback to their staff because they understand that like that's how they develop. I've had a few guys in the past, but they're like, actually, I would prefer a little bit more accountability, please. And I'm like, cool, I can do that, absolutely. But if I don't know about it, then I don't understand that you need it because equally there are other sides on the other people. Sorry, there are other people on the other side that don't want to be pestered, right? So unless we know what you guys want, then we can't fulfill that. Yeah, and again, we have this baseline on what we do with coaching, but like Jake said, it's we're always willing to learn and adapt and change to make it a better experience for you. As long as it's not like, can you wake me up and make all my meals every day? Because I can't do that, bro. Can't do that. So read me a bedtime story. That'll help my sleep quality. No, no. Done with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Graduated out of that at 3, 12, 21. But yeah, just start really making those decisions now. Yeah, time is very valuable and it is your most valuable asset that you have. So don't spend it on things that don't benefit you in any kind of way. And get to the gym because the gym is just going to give you more time. Yeah, more time available and better quality time as well. So get moving on that. And yeah. Anything else you want to share with the week, Jake? On a little bit of a lighter note, anything you want to say to the guys? I've got quite a funny story I want to tell the guys as well because it's just freaky as shit. But anyway, I'll let you go first.
Also, know when to sort of like when you need to take a break. Obviously, I've just been away on a week away in Scotland, in the Scottish Highlands, growing out my lustrous beard. And honestly, it was probably one of the best weeks of my life. Lewis won't believe that because it's up in Scotland. Lewis isn't a massive fan of Scotland, but hey ho.
I like Shrek.
Very Scottish. Sorry about that. Yeah. But yeah, just learn when you need to take a break. When you need it, you'll realize that you need it. Like I probably felt guilty like once that I was away, but fuck me, was it one of like the best weeks I've ever had because it was just so chill and relaxed and it's sort of like, yeah, I've earned this. I've learned this, but properly.
Also, share with the guys what I said to you in your check-in before you went, because you were stressing out massively about not going to the gym, right? Like you were like actively fucking
Bro,
worried.
hugely. I'm gonna get it up now. But I was like proper worrying because obviously not only was I worried about not going to the gym, but I was also worried about obviously like the coaching side of things as well, and not being on top of that, not doing sort of like what we've done on the daily. What can I can't remember what it was.
Sorry, now I've played the whole video.
It was along the lines of like, bro, I'm like major stressing out. I've got no gym. I'm worried about food. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about etc. And I think the check-in video that I got was like a 2-minute check-in video, being like, shut the fuck up and just have a nice time away. And it was like, oh, okay, all right then, I will do.
I remember saying to you in that check-in, your one singular focus for this week, and this is to take as seriously as you do weightlifting, dieting, all of that, is to just chill the fuck out, dude. Like that is your one goal for this week. You have so many other weeks in the year, but you are not to stress about your diet, not to stress about going to the gym, not to stress about anything other than just spending some time with Shah and chilling the fuck out. And you did your check-in. Okay, slightly inflamed from where you had different food variety while you were away, but that's pretty fucking normal, to be honest. Obviously, your food quality is going to vary. It's just water retention, but you didn't lose any muscle whatsoever. Anything. You didn't take any steps back.
What a little bitch I was, eh?
No.
It's something that's the same for everybody. I think we all, even I've been there before. And my business coach told me when I was away on holiday, I was like, hey, dude, I've signed up with you. Like, I signed up with him like the week before. It was like $2,000. Yeah. I was like, oh no, it's a lot of money. Da, 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 da. And he was like, dude, I'm just going to put your payment back by 1 extra week. So we won't use this week. But legitimately, you're in America, mate. So just go and relax. And I was like, yeah, but what if? And he was like, he was like, go and just chill out and have a good time. And we'll worry about it when you get back. And I was like, fine. And all I needed was someone to tell me not to panic. And then as soon as we got back, the best month we'd ever had as a business, but off the back of that. So sometimes having that break is needed to be more proactive in the other parts of your life. Yeah.
Yeah, I vouch. It's really weird. It's almost like people know when you're on holiday, so they don't get in contact with you when you're back. Like I've had like 3 people interested in coaching since I've been back. I've been back for like 2 days. So it's really weird. But yeah, knowing when to just take that break and just chill the fuck out. As hard as it is, just know that it's very beneficial, especially for growth. Think of it as like a rest day, for example. If you grew every single time you do a training session, everyone would be training 7 days a week, but that's not how it works. That's scientifically not correct. Hence why you have a rest day. So just focus it as like a prolonged rest period, if you will, because then you could just grow even more on the back of that. And your motivation, your motivation level, right, resets in a way. So you're like back, and you're like, oh fucking hell, I missed this. I'm back. Let's go. Like I'm so excited to deadlift later. Like I might not deadlift as much, but like I'm just excited to get back into it, and that's on the back end of having a break.
I bet you'll be surprised with your deadlift performance, mate. Honestly, after weeks off, I've come back and I've been mad strong.
It's more the worrying about the lower back on a blow up mattress, mate. If anything.
Yeah, no, I get you. But no, going back to the main thing there, just make sure you enjoy your breaks. And again, go back to bank holiday, right? Just do what you need to do and then just go and chill the fuck out, guys. Yeah, there is no need for you to panic about the week yet because the bank holiday is meant for rest. Yeah, just go and rest. Get your workouts done, get your meals prep, and just chill on the sofa, watch some films, or go out and spend the day out somewhere that's relaxing for you. I understand that people relax in different ways, but just take that time off in it. Just enjoy yourself. I've got a really weird story, Jake, and I'm gonna relay this over to you. This is weird. This is really weird.
Hit me with that.
Okay. So I went to one of my mates' dedications yesterday for their baby and for their daughter. And I don't know if you ever been to a dedication before.
Maybe when I was like young, maybe.
Yeah. So I think the reason why you do it is you're dedicating that child to God. Yeah, which is it sounds very extreme, but it's like you're dedicating the love of God to that child or whatever. Yeah. So these two people are very religious. my two very good friends are very religious, come from a religious family, and they invited us along. It was really beautiful. It was really nice, and I do not believe in anything as such. I believe there's something, but I don't know what it is. Yeah, like, I'm just kind of like, okay, like, it's something, but I don't really know what. So I'm not going to believe in anything because there's 3,000 gods now. So, like, how the hell? Like, how would you know, right? So we went there, and there's this bit at the end of this service where the pastor, priest, I'm not too sure what he is, he basically stands up and there's music going on in the background. He's like, right, there are 4 people over here, and they're going to be there. If you want to walk up and you want to tell them about something that you're struggling with in your life, they'll give you a prayer, and they'll give you some advice. But if you just want to stand there and you want to be in touch with God, then you can. And I'm like, in any scenario I've ever been like that, I'm like, okay, interesting. So this is going to be the next 5 or 10 minutes where we're in the holy of holy environments, and I'm just going to think in my brain, I'm like, if God, if you're real, now is a good time to like impact me, like, I don't know, raise my hand or something. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if this comes up and I'm like, no, pull it down, and it's staying up, I'm like, okay, cool, something's doing that. It's really weird. So anyway, nothing like that was happening. I was stood there, and everybody started sitting down after like 5 minutes, and the music's on for 10. It's just a long. If you've ever been to a church sort of service, the music is on for a very long time. It is not a 3-minute track. It is about 10. So me and Maddie sit down. Loads of other people sit down, and when we sat down, Maddie's like, oh, I'm gonna go help Gabby set up the food for afterwards and stuff and things like that. And everybody's sort of like chatting amongst themselves. And this guy comes over, right? And he's got this heart tattoo right here. And he goes, hi guys. Really sorry, but can I pray for you? And I'm there like, yeah, of course you can. Absolutely. He's a lovely guy, right? He's probably in his like early 70s. He was in his early 70s. He told us he was like 73. I was like, yeah, of course. He was like, okay, right. Join hands for me. And then me and Madge joined hands. He put his hand on ours. He was like, I don't know why, but something told me to come over here today. And I just thought I had to give you a prayer. It's like, what is this? And then he was like, right, obviously I can see you're a big guy. Muscles are cool, but it's not everything. Remember, it's in here that counts. We've all got 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And as much as we want to change our bodies and look good, remember that God made you in to be yourself and to be unique. So just be you. Remember not to let it control you, and don't try and always for Maddie, don't try and be like every other woman. For me, it was like, don't try and be like anybody else. Be you. And I just want to wish you the best in the future, and I hope that you guys have a great life together. And then I was like, that's such a cute message. And he was like, yeah. So anyway, so then obviously, closed our eyes. He said, amen. And then he was like, I'm really sorry. I had to come over. Something pulled me over here, and I just had to have a conversation with you. And I'm like, okay. And then he walked off, and I said to Maddie, I was like, it's really weird. It's really weird because in my head, again, I was like, now's a good time, God, if you want to pop up. And I said, do you know what would make it even weirder? If I cannot find the dude. If I cannot find the dude after this and nobody knows who he is, then it's going to be weird, right? So I was like, okay, wait for the service to be over. And I like packed the chairs away. I was like, right, I'm on a beeline. I'm on a mish. Yeah, I'm like, I've got to find out who this dude is. He's probably just some guy that comes to the service, all this sort of stuff. I go around, dude, no one knows who he is. Yeah, I'm there like talking to people who go there every week. And I'm like, do you know this 74-year-old man with a heart tattoo? You cannot miss it. He's got like curly, almost permed hair, heart tattoo, really, really friendly, super friendly guy. Do you know who he is? They're like, no, I've never seen him in my life. Even went up to the dude who was running the service, who was there every week. Do you know who this guy is? He was like, no, I have no idea. I was like, shut up. Have I just been Bruce Almighty'd? Did God just turn up? Like, what is this?
It would have been so funny if his name was Morgan Freeman. It would have been absolutely hilarious if his name was Morgan Freeman.
Dude, I said to Mads, I said, if you were good to give me a sign, I know that was really good, but like, if you could have made it Morgan Freeman, I would have been committed. Like, if it was Morgan, I mean, like with a low voice, hello there, like I would have. Oh God, sound. But yeah, it really interesting. So I had a conversation with Mads, and I was there like, look, if this is the right God, and they're like, I'm going to give him 2 more opportunities this week. Now, I'm not going to be selfish and say I need to win the lottery or anything good has to happen to me. I want selfless things to happen to me this week. I need 2 more things that could even inconvenience me. I said to Mads, if a homeless guy stands in the middle of the road at 4:30 in the morning with a cardboard box that says "I'm real" on it and it holds me up in traffic, I will take that as 100%. Yeah. So I've already had my 1, which is this guy coming up to me. That'll be 2, and I need something else. Right. If that happens, dude, I'm going to church every Sunday, dude. I'm so there. But it was actually, yeah, it was a really interesting experience. Actually, it was really weird. Really weird. It could have been completely by chance. I get that.
Either that, or he was telepathic and knew exactly what you were thinking. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck with this guy." But it's nice. That it's an interesting concept knowing that your rendition of God has got a heart tattoo. Instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this other part of me is like, maybe, I don't know, like maybe it could be like symbolic or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But he just sort of blended in with the environment. He was nobody. Like, no one batted an eyelid and sort of like stopped him from coming over. Like everybody is like considered pretty normal, I think. But we were the only people it happened to out of the 100 and something plus people that were there. And I was just like, it's so weird that you can't find him afterwards. Yeah. Strange.
Maybe it's a midsummer kind of plot. Maybe you're gonna get lured into a cult somewhere. Maybe that's the next step. It was part of the ritual, mate.
He's
Or
doing
part
his
of the
job.
ritual.
He's doing his
Yes,
job well.
he's convinced you.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie though, bro. Like it was a really nice day though. It was a really nice day. And as much as I said to Mads, I was like, in a way, like religion is a beautiful thing, but also it has been, I'm not unaware of the fact it's been manipulated by human beings over the course of thousands of years. So like if God is there, I doubt it's the version of God that we would perceive as what we perceive now. Do you know what I mean? So I'd imagine like, if you have an all-powerful being that's given us free will, it's like, by the way, guys, I know you've got free will, but just, don't use my name in vain. It's like, I feel like a pretty petty thing, like I feel like that's not something he would really be bothered by. Like if someone went around going, oh, fucking Lewis, I'll be like, weird, but not really that bothered by it. If you want to say Lewis all the time, that's fine. But I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting experience. I thought I'd share it.
Definitely something to think about maybe this week, my friend. Waiting for those other 2 signs.
Maybe because I call me Pastor Lewis.
I mean, we are a cult at the end of the day, so it makes sense.
Yeah, according to other people. Anyway, guys, we're going to finish that one there because obviously we spoke about being motivated this morning. Round up for the week. If you have got stress, definitely look to address it head on. If you are struggling with momentum, maybe you've had like a meal off plan or something like that, don't panic about it. Don't worry. Just get straight back on with your plan and everything will be absolutely fine. Okay. Remember, the one meal that you have in a day that's not perfect does not does not have any kind of impact on the 47 other meals that you have in a week. Yeah, it's such a minor thing. So just crack on like normal. Everything will be absolutely fine. And if you have any struggles or any issues, that's what me and Jake are there for. We are here to help. And even if you are tuning in and maybe you are not a coaching client, even if you are just a gym member, we are here as well. Yeah, we're your coaches. So just message us. We're here to help. That's what we're here to do. At the end of the day, the more you can feel comfortable in the process, the more results you're going to get. But that's only via communication.
Yeah, I vouch that completely. Just have a nice chilled bank holiday Monday, get straight back on the wheel. Try not to fall off the best you can. Just keep your good habits, all right? Keep them strong. And praise Lewis, almighty cult leader.
Yeah, I'm not down for being God, bro. I'm down for worshiping something. I'm not not down for being that.
I tried.
Yeah, good effort. Right, okay, guys. So we're gonna call it there for the rest of the day. Have an awesome Monday, and if you need anything, just drop us a DM. Yeah.
Have a lovely Monday, guys, and we will see you on Thursday. Another episode of the Tribe podcast.
Yes, and on Thursday, guys, if you are going to tune in, come with some questions. Yeah, we want to sit here and answer your questions. We don't want to just talk about. Sometimes for us, it's hard to be able to know what you guys need from us. Again, go back to communication. The best way to communicate on here is by literally just leaving a chat message. I don't think Jake actually meant to turn that off then. So yeah, add you back in for the last minute.
What the fuck happened there? What's going on
yeah.
today?
But if you can just leave a message, leave a some questions that you have, even if it is just you were happy to chat. Yeah, that's what we're here for. So anyway, right, have a lovely rest of your day. Peace out, guys, and speak to you soon.
Much love, much love. See you soon.